Guys, let's get to it. I missed Pick and Roll podcast on Wednesday, but I decided, before going live for Timberwolves versus Nuggets, game 3. I'm going to preview that before going live. We're going to talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs, and I'm going to fix the title of this stream right now. So let's get into it. We got some NBA basketball to talk. So let's get to NBA playoffs. So tonight, right as we're getting ready to start this, we got game 3 of the series between the we got game 3 between the Knicks and the Indiana Pacers ready to start. Jalen Brunson apparently will be playing. Apparently he was questionable with his foot injury, but he will be playing. He's going to tough it out, and I will give you updates as that game's going along. We got Daniel Berry coming in here. Yes, indeed. Happy Friday, or as I call it, Diez de Mayo. Throwing a little Spanish in there. Probably wasn't expecting that. So yeah, I wasn't there for Pick and Roll podcast. Now that we got the title fixed, get into it. I got the background that's Anthony Edwards, nikolajokic. That's the thumbnail to my stream, my live stream play-by-play / reaction of Timberwolves Nuggets game 3. But yeah, let's get to it. So the main thing I'm going to talk about first to get the start, we're going to talk about Frank Vogel, the now former Phoenix Suns head coach. He was dismissed of his duties yesterday. I dropped a short about it earlier, and I said in that short, I would talk about it a little bit more. And I'm going to get that out the way first while it's still on my mind a little bit. So the Phoenix Suns now, that's 2 off seasons in a row now. They flamed out in the playoffs in embarrassing fashion and fired their head coach afterward. They did last year if they went out in the second round to the eventual NBA champion Denver Nuggets. They fired Monty Williams, which looking back on it now, I see why they did it, because you see how bad Monty Williams was with the Pistons. And we all thought he was a good hire, but looking back, I give the Suns the benefit of the doubt on that one. And now they fired Frank Vogel after only 1 season and another embarrassing flame out in the playoffs. This is a big red flag here about the Phoenix Suns organization, that it's telling me you've managed to make the playoffs and be in contention in spite of yourself. And to be real, their championship window closed to me. I feel like the championship window was really only open 2 seasons. That being 2020-21 when they made the finals against the Bucks. And then the following season when they lost to the Mavericks 2021-22. But I feel like after that, their championship window closed. You clearly saw last year. I mean, they beat the Clippers in the opening round, but let's be real. The Clippers, what are they? The Clippers are an opening round or second round elimination reoccurring. That's what they've been over the past decade. And then when they had to step up against the real team in the Nuggets, you saw what happened. And now here you go. This year, they come in, they do the offseason, they bring in Bradley Beal. This is supposed to help make them a super team. This is supposed to be the big 3. Durant, Booker, now Bradley Beal. He was supposed to be a game changer. He was a phenomenal player with the Wizards, but you saw, first off, his stats weren't that great compared to the Wizards, and he wasn't this real game changer. Even throughout the regular season, they came in as the number 3 seed. Not the 3 seed, the 6th seed. They were expected to be a top 3, but they came in as the 6th seed against the 3 seed Timberwolves. And what happened? They got swept in 4 games. They got swept. And now they're firing their head coach Frank Vogel. But that's telling you that they've been successful in spite of themselves. They managed to put themselves in a good position with a roster that was in championship contention. They managed to keep some of those key pieces, managed to bring in Durant to pair him with Devin Booker. So they had the Durant Booker going to last offseason and bring in Bradley Beal, bringing enough talent to be good during the regular season, but that's as far as they're going to get. And let's face it, Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal are not getting any younger. And now with Bradley Beal, his stock had dropped this season. It did. I hate to say that because personally I have a bit of a soft spot for Bradley Beal because it's a bit off subject with sports, but my mom worked at MGM International up by Washington as a dealer, and she dealt with Bradley Beal, and she had nothing but positive things to say about him as a customer when I spoke to her about it. So, hey, so I have a soft spot for Bradley Beal, but as a player, he proved to me that he's a good player, but I don't consider him elite. That's just the way it is. And for the Suns, I feel like that window's closed because, like I said, Beal, Durant aren't getting any younger. Devin Booker's still there, but outside of that, who does he really have that's a game changer? Look at the roster. Nurkic is not. Grayson Allen, no. Royce O'Neal, not. I mean, these guys are not game changers. Isaiah Thomas, obviously not that Isaiah Thomas, but the one they have on their team. He was a star years ago with the Boston Celtics. He peaked years ago. I mean, that Rouse, and they're stuck with those big three for now. So I feel like the Suns, man, I feel like their window's closed, man. They're stuck at that like early round playoff elimination, first round, possibly second round, no matter what they do with their head coach. And for Frank Vogel, yeah, it's over him as a head coach. He got fired with the Lakers. Now, some people point to LeBron and say, oh, there goes LeBron, the coach killer. But now you go to the Phoenix Suns, and guess what? You only lasted one season. You flamed out in the opening round. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's over as a head coach for Frank Vogel. That's just the way it is. But now I'm going to talk about some other stuff right here. We go. And one thing I'm going to talk about first, before I actually get into the preview of the Nuggets Timberwolves game, we're going to talk about Michael Porter Jr. and what happened game 2. Because I know the guys talked about it on Pick and Roll podcast. Now, I wasn't on it. I caught part of your guys' episode 70 at the beginning, just for a few minutes to listen to it while I was on the road. And I heard you guys talk about Michael Porter Jr. and what happened in that game right there with him throwing. I saw what happened right there. Was it Michael Porter Jr., was it, that, what is he, threw a pad onto the court? Like, let me just double check again to make sure. No, wait, who was it? It was Jamal Murray, excuse me. Yeah, but I caught that with Jamal Murray. He threw a heating pad onto the court. Now, supposedly he was going to get suspended, but he didn't. That's why I want to talk about, because I remember you guys on Pick and Roll, Mitch, Blaze, Coach Ed, were talking about Jamal Murray's incident when I caught it for a few minutes on the road. But, man, Jamal Murray, I'm surprised he hasn't gotten any serious punishment for it yet. Because, I mean, the heating pad, the thing is, you guys talked about, what if that had landed on the court and someone fell on it and injured their ACL, was out, like Karl Anthony Towns or a star for the Timberwolves? How would the NBA react then if one of their stars got hurt? They would definitely, I think they would have panicked a lot more if that were the case. But to me, that's a terrible sportsmanship, that is. And I don't feel he should just get a pass and skate free. There's got to be some sort of punishment to say, hey, this is unacceptable. We're not going to tolerate this behavior. And it's a shame because who do they suspend from the opening round? Again, who was it? That's going to be suspended for 4 games next season. Like, who? It was Patrick Beverley for his actions in the Game 6 loss, where Patrick Beverley got suspended 4 games without pay for an incident against the Pacers. And guess what? That's going to cross over into early next season. But yet they don't do anything to, and that's a ridiculous thing to Jamal Murray. I feel like it's selective standard. So, I mean, you got to be consistent with these punishments, but obviously, you know, the NBA is not going to do it. And I don't know what they're thinking about it. I guess they don't. I mean, I don't know if it's because they don't want to take the shine away from the Timberwolves and Nuggets if a suspended player becomes a hot subject. But on the flip side, what if his actions would have caused one of the star players to get injured? The NBA would not have liked that. They wouldn't like the idea of the T-Wolves and Nuggets playing a game with one of the teams not at full strength because one of the players in the Timberwolves got injured because of a selfish act. That's how I feel right there. But I think you got to do some punishment for Jamal Murray. Hopefully they change their decision, but I doubt they will. And I'll leave it at that. Get Daniel in here saying Knicks swim. And now that Daniel mentioned, I'm gonna keep an eye out on the score box too as I do this too. So far I don't have any update on ESPN. They might, or NBA.com. I don't have an update on it, so yeah, I'll keep an eye out for it. If I see a live score update, I'll give you one. Or if Daniel's watching and he wants to put one in the chat, feel free to do so. But yeah, now I'm going to get a little bit into this Timberwolves Nuggets game 3, because so far, man, T-Wolves have had their number thus far. Games 1 and 2. I mean, it's just been, the T-Wolves dominated game 2 specifically in Denver. And if they can win this right here, go up 3-0 at home, because they won 2 games in Denver on the road, which is impressive right there. They set a statement, but if they can win 3 straight with, they won 2 without Rudy Gobert. Now you're bringing him back into the fold. He's going to play tonight. That's big right there. That can be a big game changer. But yeah, here and get Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. He can come back in, retake control. And then this team that's already dominating, that's a scary deal right there, bro. We'll have to see. The Denver Nuggets, though, they're in a tough spot now. They got to go on the road. Now, down 2-0 against the Timberwolves, a team that's got all the momentum in the world. Anthony Edwards has been playing lights out so far through the series. Now, you got to go out there. If you're the Denver Nuggets, you have to find a way to win this tonight. If you're the Nuggets, to avoid going in a 3-0 hole, because I don't know how you're going to come back from a 3-0 hole against this Timberwolves team, because this is a really good team. And you had Jamal Murray in game 2 was 3 for 18, not on top of being a sore sport, throwing a heating pad onto the court. So his shooting was not all the way there, too. And even Reggie Jackson said, look, they punked us in game 2. Because game 2, flat out the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're undefeated in the playoffs, too. There's, not to mention, 6-0. They had the sweep of the Suns. Now you're up 2-0 against the Nuggets. Now, do I think they will go up 3-0 tonight? I doubt it. The Nuggets are still the defending NBA champions. They should at least find a way to win a game against this team. And even though so far it's looking like, hey, the Timberwolves got their number, but hey, anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. And we will have to see, though. And I know I'm skipping around on subjects here, but real quickly, we're going to touch up on the other series. Also out west, we had the Mavericks and OKC Thunder. Last night, 119-110. Luka had a more consistent game than he did in game 1, where he was being shut down in game 1. His shooting was poor. He only had 20. He had 29, which is not his typical Luka scoring game that we've seen this year, but still nice numbers. And plus, he had a few steals, and some of his assists helped out too. And plus, you had PJ Washington also stepped up and scored 29. You had Tim Hardaway Jr. with 17. Some of these guys, the Mavericks did a solid job as a team. And even Kyrie, he was just a decent scorer too last night. And I'm going to pull up the numbers of that one real quickly. And we'll go over that one real quickly. But yeah, the Mavs, they helped, they shut down the Thunder's momentum. But hey, I feel like that series, let's see. So Kyrie last night, okay, he only had 9 points, but he did have 11 assists too. And that helps out as well. Another key factor in that game too last night was the Mavericks were, the Mavs in that game were 11. What was it again? They were 49% from the three, while the Thunder were only 33. But that's a significant difference, especially in a 9-point game. Those extra threes that the Mavs got to drop, that helps out a lot. in that game right there. And that's a deciding factor. But I think the Mavs do have a chance possibly in that series. Now, the Thunder on paper are the better team. Remember, just 2 years ago, when the Mavs made a surprise run to the Western Conference Finals before the Warriors were their final boss in 2022 playoffs, they upset at the time, favorite Phoenix Suns in the second round. So we know that history could strike twice and the Mavs could pull off an upset. And the Mavs, so far, I feel like they match up better against the OKC Thunder than the Nuggets have against the Timberwolves thus far. But yeah, last night it was, solid game. You had PJ Washington stepping up. Tim Hardaway Jr. did solid. And Kyrie, he wasn't the main scorer, but he played his role, man. He played his role with those 11 assists. That was a big thing, too. And you also had Luka with 10 rebounds, too. I mean, hey, that was, so hey, all around solid performance by Luka, and some of the role players did their job, too. And then for the Celtics and Cavs, hey, the Cavs got to win on them. I mean, now is it the end of the series? No. Now, some people are making a big deal about, and here's the thing I noticed. Derek White, who's been the X factor for the Celtics thus far, he was off back-to-back 26-point performances. Game 1 and then Game 5 in the first round against the Heat. Last night, he was shut down to 10 or 11. That's it. So Derek White was not as efficient last night. And that played a role. And I remember I caught the first quarter of that game. The Celtics were a little bit sloppy on offense. And the Cavs caught them by surprise and built some momentum early. Then eventually you did get it where eventually the Celtics did eventually get back in the game. They even tied at one point. But ultimately, hey, the Cavs came out on top, the better team, and they tied the series at 1. Now, do I still have Celtics as the favorites to win that series? Yes, but hey, we know the Cavs are not going down easy, and they're not going down without a fight. But and Derek White, I'm going to overlook that performance because he's been playing good throughout the whole playoffs. It's bound to happen. Even the best players that have good but great playoff runs might have one okay or under average or bad game in a series. It happens. But then they bounce right back afterward and make you forget that one bad game. So, but we'll see what happens. But I do think, hey, credit to the Cavs. They're at least making it competitive, but I still see the Celtics winning. Mavs, Thunder, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mavs pulled off an upset in that series. Because we've been down this road before with Luka. We'll have to see what happens. And as of right now, we do have a live update. Pacers are up 6-3 against the Knicks. 9:25 left in the first quarter of that game. There's our live score update. And now we're going to get back to the main game right here. I forgot to mention earlier, I do plan on going about a half hour, so probably about 12 minutes or so. And yeah, I wanted to come on here, make up for not being on Pick and Roll episode 70, but I'm doing this by myself, so it's only going to be a half hour. But let's get to it. Let's close out this preview. So back to the Nuggets Timberwolves. Now we're going into game 3. To reiterate some points I made, I do feel like, the Timberwolves, as great as they've been playing, they're going to lose a game eventually. I don't see any team going 16-0 in the NBA playoffs. Even the greatest of all playoff teams of all time might lose 1 or 2 on the way to a finals win. So far the Wolves are looking like they're that team out west, but we'll have to see what happens. Can the Nuggets bounce back? Can they remind people, hey, this is why we're the NBA champions? Can Jamal Murray turn it around? Can Michael Porter Jr., who's been playing a little shaky thus far for the first 2 games, wasn't playing up to standard, can he turn things around and do something here? But I think some of the keys to victory here, one for the Nuggets is, if Michael Porter Jr. can find a way to have a good game and get back to it, if the T-Wolves have been giving him a hard time early in the series, then, hey, maybe that can make a difference right there, because so we'll have to see, because, he was only 9 points last game, and he was 20 in game 1, but only 9 points last game. If he can get back and start scoring some more points, you get good game points by Jokic. Hey, if Murray can at least get you a decent amount of points, like 11 or 12 even, on top of Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. getting 20 plus, that's a possible key right there to winning this game. But here's the thing. You got Rudy Gobert coming back into the lineup. Now, on paper, this could smell doom because, yeah, this is the guy who's fresh off another Defensive Player of the Year award, and the Timberwolves are already up 2-0. You feel like that on paper makes them even more dangerous as a team, and maybe it does. But then again, maybe he's a little rusty. Maybe this creates a window of opportunity for the Nuggets to strike. But we will ultimately find out later tonight around 9:30 p.m. when the two teams step on the court. One more second. But yeah, ultimately it's going down. I mean it's in Timberwolves. If they can win for them, if they can come out here, do what they've been doing, incorporate Rudy Gobert back into this game system, have him shut down guys like he's been doing all season, shut down Jokic in this one, and use the home court to their advantage, they could possibly go up 3-0 and really put the gas on the pedal for this series. Really have. So there's a great window of opportunity here for the Timberwolves to potentially close it out and end it. And if they do, they obviously they won't end it with 3 wins. It's best of 7, but they could pretty much put it all but over here. Because I don't see the Denver Nuggets coming back from a 3-0 deficit against this team. I just don't. I feel like the Nuggets have to win to stay alive in the series, to at least give them a chance. Because I feel like 3-0 against a team as strong, the Timberwolves, with Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns. Hey, you got Jaden Daniels. And you got Rudy Gobert coming back. You got Naz Reid, 6th man of the year. I mean, this team is clicking on all cylinders. If you're the defending champion Denver Nuggets, and you want, as Mike Malone said at the ceremony last year during their celebration, we don't just want 1, we want 2, 3 championships. You want to be a repeat, you got to win this game. And for the Nuggets, for Joker and company, I'm sure the pressure's on them, but they got to do something right here to win this game. Like I said, Michael Porter, they got to score. You got to find a way to try and contain Anthony Edwards, but I don't know about that. And Rudy Gobert, even though he's primarily known for his defense, he's still a solid presence on offense, too. You want to shut him down. And I feel like your best chance right here, obviously, is to try to shut down Karl Anthony Towns out of your main 2 guys, Cat and Anthony Edwards. It's more likely that they'll shut down Karl Anthony Towns. But the Nuggets have to find a way to do something here. You need to step up. You need at least a little bit defense right here, because you've given up over 115 games 1 and 2. But for the Nuggets, man, it's all or nothing at this point. I feel like, even though it's not an elimination game, it's going to feel like it for them for the reasons I just laid out. Because I don't see a 3-0 deficit, as I said, being the comeback. But for predictions, I did say the Nuggets, but predictions for this one, I still got to, I'll go Timberwolves by a score of 125 to 116. I do think the Timberwolves will win this game, and they'll take a 3-0 lead in this series. Then I think the Nuggets might come back and win game 4 to at least give us 1 win. Maybe they'll win a game 5, or maybe the Timberwolves will close in game 5. But I just get a feeling that T-Wolves are going to win this game. They're going to take that momentum they've been running with and take the W, go up 3-0. I don't think they're going to sweep the Nuggets, but I do think they'll go up 3-0 in this one. But we will see. We'll see what happens. I'll come on here around 9:25 p.m., exactly 2 hours from now. 5 minutes for the game scheduled to start. Get ready for this game. Some play-by-play and live reactions. And we'll see if my prediction's right or wrong. But being the team or the score, we'll see. But hey, we'll find out. So for the meantime, all I got to say is thanks to everyone that tunes in for this one. This is awesome right here. Hope you're enjoying your evening right now. Hope you have a great evening. I will be back. For those checking out on the Twitter side, yes, I will be doing that play-by-play and live reaction on the Twitter side, so you'll be able to catch it there. So thanks for tuning in. Enjoy. If you don't catch the play-by-play reactions, enjoy the rest of your night. If you do, I'll catch you then. And also, please make. And one last thing, live update as of right now. Pacers are up over the Knicks, 14-6, 6:43 in the first quarter. So yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. So be back in a few hours for game 3. I'll catch you guys then. Thanks for tuning in. If you tune into then, catch you then. If not, have a wonderful night. Nicky Stees, signing off.